Right, what is up everyone? So I enjoyed the last two videos so much I decided to shoot one more in exactly the same setup. But this time, we don't have to use PowerPoint slides and I've got my handy MIDI keyboard ready to talk about some harmony. Now harmony is the most technical of all of the features of accompaniment, and in my view it's also the most technical of all the features of music theory in general. When I was taking my ABRSM theory, I realized that once you go past grade 5, it's literally like 95% harmony. So if you can't get this, it is really not your fault. This is just technical, it's theoretical, it can be quite boring, but I hope that, if we learn harmony with our ears instead of looking at a book, it'll be a bit easier. So that's the point of this lesson, and that'll be nice. This video, and as well as probably the next 2 or 3 videos ahead. Now, the very beginning point harmony is the scale. And what is the scale really? The scale is just 8 notes in an octave. Now I assume that by being able to read sheet music and being able to read key signatures, you also have an idea of what major and minor keys are. But just to go through it really quickly, major keys sound happy, minor keys sound sad. And over here, I think the scales themselves will speak for me. So I have a C major scale and an A minor scale, and I'll just play them through. So here's the C major scale. I love it, yeah. C major is the best key. So happy, great, bright, everyone loves C major. How about A minor? Here's A minor. A bit darker, a bit more solemn, and a bit just moodier. So that's A minor for you. And in general, every major or minor key sounds something like this. We'll explain a bit more when we talk about intervals and transposition. But essentially, this is a major scale, this is a minor scale. Major scale is happy, the minor scale is sad. That's not, of course, the most important part of what major and minor scales are. The whole reason we care about scales is because of the next thing I'm going to say. And now that you understand what scales are, there's 7 notes followed by an octave. Now, the most magical part of scales just comes to life. And that is that regardless of which note you are at, every single note of the scale wants to go back home. Every note does not feel at rest until it goes to 1. And I can demonstrate this quite easily using the C major example. I'll just play a bunch of notes starting with C, and then let's do like, when is this ending? This takes forever. It's just not going to rest. It only comes to rest once, and we all know the next note. And now the melody is complete. We can play the whole thing back. I'm quite confident that we all want the thing to just end, and finally when it hits the 1, we're all really happy and we feel great inside. So here's the melody. Like, it's just droning on forever, and just, yeah, like, when is it gonna end? Oh, here it comes. And now it's over. And now we're completely okay with it. That's the magic of a scale. Regardless of which scale you are in, and this is true for any scale, every single note in the scale wants to go back to 1. The exact same thing is true for A minor. So get rid of that. Let's do a melody in A minor. So let's say now it's ended. Right? Before I hit the 1, it just felt like it was going on forever. Right? Like, where is this going? Where is this going? Where is this going? Is it ending yet? And now it's ended. So once a scale hits 1, that's the end. That's where it wants to be forever. That's the end of the tension. Everyone goes home. Everyone stands up and applauds. Now, of course, music is about contrast. Music is about tension. So in between your ones, you do have to have some motion and some distortion, some like, when is this ending? I want it to end. And then you finally hit them with it. That one that everyone's been waiting for. That's a scale for you. Every note wants to go to 1. But there's one more note that is particularly important in the scale. Because if every note wants to go to 1, surely some notes must want to go to 1 more than others. And the note that wants the 1 so bad more than any other note in the scale is 7. Now I can play this quite simply by going through the C major scale. We just go up 1, 2. And we can all sing the next note. That's the 1. So it is 7 that really wants to go to 1 more than any other note. And it doesn't just have to be in the context of the scale. Same thing applies. I can play any melody I want. And we can all sing the next note. 1. Here comes the 1. And it sounds too simple to be true, but that's really what it is. So I'll just play this on. And if I stop it here, you all can just, you all want to kill me. You're like, let me finish. Let this melody finish. So I will. So it is 7 more than any other note in the scale that wants to go to 1. And it always wants to go to 1 upwards. Now, the reason for this is intervals, and we'll talk about this a bit more in the next video. But essentially, the 7 is just 1 note on the piano below the 1, at least in a major scale. So this note just really wants to resolve to this note. But the same is not true in a minor scale, right? So if I want to get rid of this, and I want to play the minor scale, we have 1, 2, 3, then. Now if I were to stop here, you don't feel the same kind of like, let this end, what are you doing? That kind of feeling. This can resolve to 1, but it kind of works. I mean, it works, but it's not as satisfying as the major. And this is true even if I play a bunch of random notes. So has it ended? Has it not? Well, that's the problem with the minor key. By its very own, if you don't do anything to it, it doesn't really want to go to 1. But it also kind of does. So what people have done traditionally is add a sharp to the 7th note. They raise the 7th note such that, once again teasing the next topic, the interval between 7 and 1 is just 1 note on the piano. Now without this sharp, the interval is 2 notes away. So it's got to cross this and then it's got to come here, which means that it doesn't want to go to 1 as bad. But if we add a sharp to the 7th and we call this a sharpened 7th, then now it really wants to go to 1. So let's just try the scale again. 1, 2, 3. And we can all sing this. So it's exactly the same thing with the major scale. 7 always wants to go to 1, but for the minor scale, we need some help. And we usually do that by raising the 7th. Just to, I guess, fill this in, I'll do exactly this example except with a sharpened 7th. Here's how it sounds. And if I stop it here, y'all will be like, what are you doing? I'll let y'all finish. That's it. That's the leading note effect. And without getting into the technical terms, if you have a 7 that is just 1 note on the piano away from the 1, then it really wants to go to that 1 and always wants to go upwards. Just so we know why it doesn't want to go down. Here's how it sounds if we go down. So that just sounds bad. And as a general rule, 7 always wants to go to 1. And there are very, very few exceptions. So that will be it for this video. There's 3 main things we talked about. We talked about major and minor scales. We talked about the 7 parts of the scale, the 7 notes in the scale. Then we talked about how every note wants to go to 1, and that the note that wants to go to 1 the most is 7. In the major scale, that's already as it is. But in the minor scale, we need to raise it in order for it to really want to go to the 1. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the next one, we'll be talking about intervals and chords. Take care, stay safe.